Hello, and thank you for listening to the Immigrant Finance Podcast. I'm your host, Adina. I am the co founder of Immigrant Finance. I am an immigration attorney and an accredited financial counselor and financial and business coach. Here's a question that I get all the time from people in our community. Am I allowed to have a business as an immigrant? Let's dive in. So, the short answer is yes, absolutely. The main takeaway here is that the immigration laws and the regulations around work permits and immigration status and all of that are really focused around limitations of being an employee. They are not about business owners. So there's really no laws saying, that immigrants can't have businesses. The only thing I've come across is some states and counties might have certain business licenses that require some kind of immigration status. We obviously disagree with those and think that they are unlawful and should be challenged. But in terms of just being able to start a business, have a business, report income, to pay taxes on a business to the IRS, it has nothing to do with immigration. It's a totally separate process. So the answer is absolutely yes. Immigrants can have businesses no matter what their status is. And in your state, you should be able to register your business to be something that's called an LLC or whatever legal formation you choose to structure the business. In many states, you often don't even need to legally structure the business, although that is recommended to protect yourself and protect your personal assets as separate from the business. But in many states, if you are just, operating as a business, if you have a service or a product and offer that you are sharing with people and selling and they're paying you, that's a business. It's often called a sole proprietor, which just basically means you're operating as a business. You might not necessarily be registered. You'll still have to pay taxes on it, but the LLC setup and all of that is not necessarily required. If you did want to set up the LLC, immigration status should not be relevant for that, and then that would happen at the state level. And then in order to have your business registered federally in terms of paying income taxes for the business with the IRS at tax time, that is something that you can do if you do not have a social security number. So people who have what's called an individual tax identification number, which is an alternative to social security number for people who don't qualify for social security numbers, they can use that individual tax identification number, or the acronym is ITIN, in order to register with the IRS, their business. So if you have questions about that and setting up an ITIN, how to do that, we have resources on our website. If you just go to immigrantfinance.com/ITIN, you can learn more about the process of starting an ITIN, getting an ITIN, applying for one. And that is something you will need if you are undocumented, if you don't have a social security number. In order to have an identification number you can use to pay taxes, because that is the one thing that is definitely required, is to be paying taxes on any income you get. And the next thing to think about is this question of am I allowed to have the business? I want to dig deeper into what that question really means, because now that we've answered the immigration law aspects, that yes, you can, right? It's not about having a work permit, right? There's no limitations on that besides maybe some particular licenses in some states, right? The next thing I want to dig deeper about is let's not ask for permission, right? To do things that we deserve to be doing, to be fulfilling our purpose, to be, making income for our families, to be getting, paid for your services as a business owner. If you're, already doing something, you're doing it for free, you should be paid for your time. And we want to really flip that question of, instead of saying, am I allowed to have a business, and trying to see if there's someone external who can give you the answer to that, really look inward and ask yourself permission. Am I going to let myself start a business? I think that's the real question, because the main barrier I see with people, at least in our community of immigrant families and allies of immigrants, is that there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of imposter syndrome, there's a lot of doubt, um, and there's a lot of questioning about whether I can do it. And this is a little ironic because if you actually look at the most successful businesses in the United States, a lot of them have been started by immigrants and children of immigrants. So if you look at the top the Fortune 500 companies, which are the top 500 companies in the US, about half of them have been started by immigrants or family members of immigrants. And we know since the founding of this country and how the economy has been built, a lot of the economy has been built by immigrants and had the energy fueled by it of immigrants coming to this country hoping for a better life, hoping for economic opportunities, and being willing to do the hard work of starting a business for that opportunity. So that's a lot of the reason, in my opinion, that the US has the strongest economy in the world. So keeping that in mind, that we know immigrants actually are some of the most successful business owners, and this has always been part of the American dream and the culture of immigration in the US. There's this other side of this story where we, especially in modern days and in recent years, we have faced these very harsh, very violent, very racist immigration laws that have dehumanized people and that have taken away people's power and been really traumatizing for the community. And so my sense, I obviously don't know for sure, and it's different for every person, but my sense is that is playing a role here when I see so many people in our community doubt whether they can have a business. Because I talk to people all the time who have these amazing ideas, and when we start talking about it and brainstorming, they really light up, and you can see their purpose shining through, and they're excited about it, and they can see the possibility. But then when it comes to starting it, this fear and this doubt really takes over and can keep people paused. And this applies to everyone starting a business as part of entrepreneurship. There's a lot of mindset work to be done, a lot of inner work. It's very scary. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of fear and doubt that entrepreneurs experience. So I don't want to say that that is something that immigrants and family members of immigrants are uniquely experiencing. But I just want to point out that I do see it a lot coming up in this community. And I really want to encourage you all to do some of the deep inner work and take some time to journal about this of, who am I asking if I could have a business? Am I asking permission from someone else because I've been living under this system that has taken away some of my power and dehumanized me and treated me or my family members or people of my community, like animals, right? And just awful things have happened. Is that subconsciously playing out and kind of influencing, my ability to believe in myself that I can do this, right? And if so, do I agree with that? Because when you really sit down and think about it, you probably don't agree with what the immigration system has told you and people in your community about immigrants, right? We all know that immigrants are some of the people contributing most to this economy and this country and this culture in so many ways. And so you may not even agree with that, with those narratives that we're being told in the system that have treated immigrants so poorly. And so really ask yourself, am I going to let this decision of whether to start a business be determined by those narratives, be determined by those very harsh, racist, and violent immigration laws that have limited me and people in my family? Or am I going to instead take my power back and decide I'm the one who gets to decide if I have a business? I don't need anyone else's permission. Adina has answered that the immigration laws don't limit me from having a business, right? So am I going to limit myself? Am I going to let myself do this? Because, as someone who's been growing a business in immigrant finance, for several years, I have experienced a lot of those doubts too, and I experience them all the time. That's why I work with several coaches who help support me and guide me so that I can keep going forward and not let those doubts and fears take over. That's what business coaching is for, right? So I know what those look and feel like, and I can actually, at this point, spot them and help our clients through it really well when it happens because I've gone through it myself and I continue to. So it's about realizing that it's normal to have fears and doubts about whether you can start a business, right? It's normal. It's expected. It's part of the process of starting a business, and it's part of entrepreneurship. It's also a reason that the vast majority of businesses fail within the first year is because of those doubts and fears that take over. Am I going to let the immigration system and the harshness of that system, hold me back anymore? Or am I going to take things into my own hands and do something that I do have the power to do, which is to start a business? Because if you've been facing issues with work permits and immigration status and immigration laws, starting a business is, in my opinion, the best thing you can do financially, for the reasons we were talking about earlier, where you don't need immigration status to have a business, right? The other reason is there's no limit on how much you can make in a business. Like, unlike a job for an employer or a 9 to 5 salary job, right? There's always going to be a cap on how much you can make. Even if you negotiate your salary, even if you, get a really good salary and raise it and you're promoted and all that, there's always going to be a cap. And it's going to be pretty hard to build significant wealth through a salary job, right? If you look at people who have built wealth, they are usually not employees. They usually have started their own businesses, they're real estate investors, they're stock market investors, right? They've taken things into their own hands and they have multiple strategies going on that allow them to build wealth, including having their own business, right? So when you have your own business, there is no cap on how much you can make and how much you can grow and scale that business. The only limitation is you, especially your mindset. So, think about that too. If you are undocumented, if you do not have status, if you have a temporary status or you're at risk of losing your status, there are no limits in this category here of starting a business. It is an amazing opportunity because you don't have to deal with all that immigration stuff, but also because there's no cap on your potential. So even if the immigration stuff wasn't going on, it would still be a very significant financial strategy to start your own business, right? And then let's talk about too, like your purpose and what you're meant to do and how that's a piece of this too, and how you shouldn't let anyone hold you back from that. I truly believe that we are all here on this earth for a purpose, for a mission. There's a reason we're here. And almost always it is to help other people through the experiences we've been through. So if you're a human, that means you have probably been through hard times, you've faced challenges, you've faced dire situations, and you've had struggles. And those experiences have taught you lessons, right, that you can help others with to share. You can either help others to avoid some of the pain you went through, right, and teach them how to prevent it or avoid the beginning, or to how to go through it so that it's less painful. And maybe, you were able to go through a big life challenge successfully and you can share those strategies with someone through your business by helping them learn how to apply those too. Or maybe you did not go through it successfully and you faced a lot of struggle, but on the other side of it, you learned a lot from that experience and you have a very good idea now how you can help other people have less pain or save more time or save more money going through that challenge, right? So we would really encourage you to reflect on the experiences you've had in life, the challenges you've had, the lessons you've had, and think about if they have told a story over time. Is there a common thread between all of these experiences that are related to your purpose? Also think about what makes you really excited, what lights you up, what can you not stop talking about? What could you spend all day doing that you would love doing day after day? Because starting a business is hard. It's hard. Especially the first couple of years when you're doing all yourself, right? You don't have the funds to have a team. it's a lot of work. And so if it's not something that you're extremely passionate about, it's unlikely you're going to keep being willing to do it. It's going to be hard to, wake up those early mornings before your day job starts and work at night and work on the weekends when you have to be building your business while doing another job for a source of income. It's going to be hard to get past, those challenges when you have your first problem, with a client complaining, or if someone talks shit about you online or something like that. Like these things that can happen that are that happen, the more people you work with, the more visible you get, or the first troll you get. Like, to get through these challenges, you're going to have to be super driven and focused about what you're doing. And so the best thing you can do to start a business is spend time doing that inner work to figure out what that really is that you're meant to do, why you're here, and get clarity on that and commit to that. Because if you have that clarity, none of those other things can get in your way. The immigration laws can't get in your way. The people that judge you, if that happens, can't get in the way. The challenges with learning how to, offer your services and share what you have with people and get it out there, like the fears, none of that can stop you if you know that what you're doing is your purpose. So that is what we love helping people with, to get clarity on, so that they can go ahead and start that business and have that amazing opportunity where they don't have to worry about the immigration laws for their source of income, where they have no cap on their earning potential, and where they get to fulfill their purpose. We absolutely love helping people find that. It's probably my favorite thing personally that we do in immigrant finance. So if you are looking for help on how to brainstorm what that might be, that's exactly what our free 30-minute consults are for. You can book one at immigrantfinance.com/consult. And lastly, I want to mention something new that we developed this year that I don't think I've talked about in the podcast yet, but we've been starting to share with some of our clients who decided to do it. It's called the Transformation Package. So the Transformation Package is a bundle package where you get to do all three of our programs that we have in immigrant finance. And it is an amazing experience because you basically get full support to figure out everything with your finances, how to start a business, and how to launch the business and grow it over a 3-year period. So the three programs, our signature programs that are included in the Transformation Package are: first, Immigrant Finance School. So that's our signature building wealth program for immigrant families, where we cover everything that you need to know about managing money, investing in the stock market, and increasing income. A lot of focus on how to be investing in the stock market on your own, so you don't have to pay a financial planner to manage it for you every year, and to get your accounts open, no matter your status. Make sure you have the best bank accounts, credit cards, you're improving your credit score, you're preparing to buy property, and you're setting the groundwork for getting clarity on what your business is going to be. That's a quick summary of the many, many topics we cover in Immigrant Finance School. So that's the first program in the Transformation Package. The second program is Illuminate Digital. Illuminate Digital is our 90-day online business accelerator program. This is an intensive business startup program where we help you over 90 days build out your whole business. So we help you get clear on what your business is going to be, who you're helping, what problem you're solving, and then literally build out the whole thing. Everything from creating your offer to figure out your pricing strategy, payment processing, setting up your LLC, business taxes and financing, your marketing plan and strategy, sales skills training, software setup and automations, you name it. We cover everything you need to know on how to start a business. It is focused primarily on online businesses, but we do work with a lot of in-person businesses and help them also come up with an online component to be part of the digital economy. So that's the second program, Illuminate Digital. And it's pretty much everything I've learned about online business in the past 5 years. The third program is the Illuminate Digital Mastermind. So that's for once you have finished Immigrant Finance School and the 90-day Illuminate Digital program, which that program has weekly business coaching. After the 90 days ends, you would continue on in the mastermind to continue the weekly business coaching, but it's more advanced business coaching. So we make sure that over that 3-year program, those 3-year program, those 3 programs, you have all the foundations you need to really take it to the next level with your finances, and not only starting a business, but making it successful and having the support you need every week to keep going when it gets hard, to have that support and accountability to keep growing it and get past the hurdles. So if you're interested in joining our transformation package, we are taking a couple more clients in that. Just please go ahead and book a consultation at immigrantfinance.com/consult, and happy to talk through it more with you and get a better sense of your goals to see if it would be a good fit for you. Well, thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you all do some of that inner work to really reflect and think about how you too can have a business and what you're meant to do. And again, we're here to provide support and help out in any way we can. Take care.